All right, welcome students. Today I'm going to be talking about our hand tool project, which is a sailboat that each of you will get to carve by hand using all hand tools and no power tools. I'm going to go through the first few steps so you guys can kind of understand how it's built. So the first part of this project, you guys should have received this packet that is going to have a list of all the tools that you will get to use to build this project with. And then there are steps that will walk you through step by step. You can follow the packet if you wish, or you can watch these videos and you'll be able to see how to build the project. The last page of the project has a template that you will cut out and use to build the boat. I'm going to go ahead and start with our step. On the plans, it is technically step 2. The first step is just receiving the packet and identifying the tools, which we should have already gone through in class. Step 2 is locate the materials. So each of you are going to be given a piece of this wood, which is called basswood. So this is an 8/4 by 3-inch piece of basswood. 8/4 is a term used in the lumber industry for hardwoods. Anytime you're referring to a board or a piece of hardwood lumber, they refer to them in quarters. So for example, a 4/4 piece of lumber is going to be 1 inch thick. So it's 4/4, or 4/4. This is 8/4, which means that it is 2 inches thick. So 8/4 or 8/4. That is what we're going to be using for our project. Basswood is an excellent carving wood, so you guys will be able to carve through this relatively easy. It's not as prone to splitting as other woods, so it's a great option for this project. Okay, that is step 2, is locating materials. Step 3, you are going to cut your stock. So the pieces that you will be given are longer than you actually need for the project. So your first step, you have to cut it down to size. You are going to do that by using a few of these tools that are listed in the packet. The first one is called a miter box. A miter box is a tool used to help you cut straight square lines as well as 45-degree angled lines. For this project, you'll just be using it for the straight lines. So the first step before we can cut our wood, we need to measure it. So in the instructions, it'll show you that you need to measure 6 3/4 inch long. I'm going to take a tape measure, hook one edge on the end of the board, grab a construction pencil, and mark it at 6 3/4. Once I have that pencil mark on my board, you can kind of see it there. All you have to do is one little mark so you know where that 6 3/4 distance is. You are ready to make your cut. So I'm going to take this miter box, and I'm also going to use a handsaw to make my cut today. Again, we're just using hand tools for this project. You are going to hook, if you'll notice, on the bottom of the miter box, one end is a little lower than the other. There's a little lip. We're going to hook that on the edge of our table. That will help to avoid it sliding around all over the place. If you try and cut on top of the table, as you make your cut, it's just going to slide around and give you a lot of trouble while you're trying to cut that. So I'm going to go ahead and place my block of wood that I have marked in the miter box. The lip is right up against the table here. I'm going to line up my line with these 2 gaps in the miter box that are in line with each other. I'm going to make sure my saw is lined up right there. I'm going to hold firmly, put pressure down against the table to keep that nice and tight while holding on to squeezing your block of wood so it's not going to move. And then I'm going to, very gently at first, I'm going to start going back and forth to make that start of your cut. If you push too hard at the start, it's going to dig in and it's going to be really hard to make that cut. So go very gently at first. You're just going to ease into it. Oops. Sometimes you'll get caught. You just have to reset it. So gently back and forth until I've got a line that's about a 1/16 of an inch deep. Once you've got into your cut a little bit, then you can start going a little bit faster. And remember, these blades are designed with the teeth, on most of them, the teeth are pointing forward. So all of the cutting is going to take place on the forward stroke, and then the back, a little bit of cutting will happen, but most of your pressure should be on that forward stroke. Again, I'm going to put it in there. You don't need to push down super hard. Let the saw blade do most of the work, and you're just going to go back and forth until you have cut all the way through that piece of wood. So just like that, in maybe 15 seconds or so, I've gotten through about a third of it. You can kind of see right there. So you guys will continue cutting. I won't do the whole thing for the sake of time, but you will continue cutting through the whole board until you have cut that in half, and you will have your 6 3/4 piece of wood. And that is the end of step 3. Hold on, my phone won't stop going off. It's my alarms. Okay. We are now going to move on to step 4 in the packet. So step 4 is shaping. This is a multi-part step. So you guys are going to be able to start shaping that block of wood that you just cut into a boat.